And now, the moment that we have all been waiting for, something in which we have been waiting for months to see. What are the best of the movies in 2016? The one list that can legitimize them all. The one that people really do take seriously on. I am talking, of course, about the 2017 Oscar nominations. And so far from the list that we have gotten, there have been plenty of record-breaking pieces that we have got so far, especially with La La Land, considering that it has got 14 nominations, which is the most that a movie has ever gotten, and now it's tied up with Titanic and All About Eve. But for this one in particular, for the animation podcast, we are only going to be looking at the ones in animation. And this is the first time in a while that now finally animation is being nominated more than just in Best Animated Feature or even in Best Animated Short. We are seeing some animated projects spread around here and there, thank freaking God. And so I'm going to be looking at each of those specifically, which ones that animation has touched upon, and I'll go and give out a bit of my analytical thoughts on what I could see from here. And so, without further ado, let us officially look into the nominees for Best Animated Feature are Kubo and the Two Strings, Moana, My Life as a Zucchini, The Red Turtle, and finally, Zootopia. Now, when I first saw this list, honestly, I was ecstatic. And if you guys remember, like in one of the previous episodes of the animation podcast where I actually talked about my predictions of what could be nominated for Best Animated Feature, like, I'm just really excited the fact that I almost got every single one of them right. I managed to get Kubo and the Two Strings correct, I got Zootopia correct, and I even got the independent films correctly. I guessed The Red Turtle, I knew that was going to get a nomination, and also My Life as a Zucchini. However, the one thing that I did not get correct was that when I made my predictions, I mentioned that Finding Dory would actually get a nomination, but instead, what actually happened was Moana. But to be fair, in my defense, when I was making those predictions, Moana wasn't even out yet. It was just right around the corner, so I haven't had a chance to see that movie yet, so I didn't fully know if it would actually have a chance to actually be a competitor for the nominations here, but it looks like it could be the case, so I would almost consider this like a legitimate guessing every single one of them correctly. So, you know, that's honestly really excited. I feel proud of myself for doing so. And a lot of them are extremely well-deserved. And to be very honest, as I'm doing this episode of the animation podcast, the only one that I have not seen yet is My Life as a Zucchini. But so far, I'm pretty much good with the rest of them. Like, I've seen Kubo and the Two Strings. That movie is amazing. I've seen Moana. That movie is amazing. I've seen The Red Turtle, that movie is amazing, and I've seen Zootopia, and that movie is amazing, so hopefully My Life as a Zucchini would be amazing as well to see like how that is actually nominated among all the others. So definitely great list that we have here so far, and if I would have to make my guess regarding who would actually be the winner, well, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it would be either Zootopia or maybe Moana. I mean, considering the reputation that the Academy voters have regarding animated films, like, they could easily pick Moana because it's the one that recently went out in theaters that's from Disney, so, like, that's just the one thing that's fresh out of their memory. They'll be like, oh, well, my kid saw Moana, she liked it, I guess I'll vote for that too. But chances are, like, they could probably go with Zootopia. I mean, it definitely was the big winner. Like, it got $1 billion at the box office, massively praised, and probably one of the biggest surprises of the year of how it turned out. Like, even for me personally, I would definitely give my vote to Zootopia. Such a phenomenal film. But yeah, honestly, just a fantastic list. And by the way, the one thing that I do want to mention is that in terms of the movies that didn't get nominated, the one in which people are really shocked about that the Academy decided to ignore this year was actually Finding Dory, and that didn't get a nomination, and people are just freaking out over the fact that, holy crap, Pixar got ignored this year. They didn't get a nomination. Honestly, like, I don't really get it why people are really freaking out about it. I mean, it's not the first time that Pixar did not get a nomination at the Oscars for one of their films. I mean, yeah, sure, there are the Cars movies, but like a recent example that I can think of is Monsters University. That actually did not get a nomination next to films like Despicable Me 2 and Frozen. But then again, I guess people are more shocked because technically Finding Dory is actually one of those films that are highly praised, almost as much as many of the other Pixar films. Not necessarily as much as like either the original Finding Nemo or The Incredibles or WALL-E or Up or stuff like that, but still, honestly, it was a massive hit. Like, it was massively praised by critics and audiences. And again, it's another movie in which it got $1 billion at the box office, but honestly, I don't really see it that much of a big deal, the fact that it didn't get nominated. And, like, personally, I do agree that, like, Moana is definitely better and more worthy to have a nomination at the Oscars more so than Finding Dory. But then again, like, if you take away Moana, then it would, like, I can actually imagine that Finding Dory would actually be the movie in which, like, you take away one of the films that got nominated and like Finding Dory would just immediately take its place. Like it's like the definitive runner-up from what I can imagine. So yeah, that's basically the whole thing with Best Animated Feature. And now let's go and move on to Best Animated Short. Now I know many of you might not know any of these animated shorts, but it's still worth mentioning to talk about these. Anyways, going back into this, the nominees for Best Animated Short include Blind Vaisha, Borrowed Time, Pear Cider and Cigarettes, Pearl, and finally, Piper. Now, the thing is that I'm sure, like, for those of you who are listening, the only one that you might have seen from all this is Piper, considering that is the animated short before Finding Dory. And, you know, I'm honestly really happy that this movie actually got the nomination. Definitely worth it. Really cute film and extremely well animated. But one of them that I'm really excited and happy that it actually did get a nomination was Borrowed Time. That is an absolutely phenomenal short. And for those of you who don't know, Borrowed Time is technically an unofficial Pixar short because even though it's not distributed by Disney and Pixar, it was actually made in-house at Pixar. Animators Andrew Coates and Lou Hamu Lihaj, I think that's how you say his name, they both actually worked in the grounds of Pixar to go and create this animated short, and the result that came out of it is just absolutely phenomenal. And honestly, after you're when you're done listening to this episode of the Animation Podcast, I highly recommend you guys to go and check out Borrowed Time online. You can actually go onto Vimeo, and they actually have the entire animated short for free there. So if you want to do a little bit more research onto the movies that you want to see that are nominated at the Oscars, and even down to the point that you want to check out the shorts as well, this is just a little tip if you want to go and check for something like Borrowed Time. Just go onto Vimeo and like it'll be worth it. That, or maybe you can wait until iTunes or like wherever that you can find that there is this like little paying section that you pay like maybe $7 or $8, and you can go and check out like all the animated shorts at once. I know that iTunes does it every year just to see what these shorts are. So I'll be using that so that I can do my homework on who got nominated for like best animated shorts and like to watch all the things that the Oscars recognized in terms of animation. Now, like I said before though, this is actually a year in which animation actually did get more recognition more than just in animated features. And the first one that I will get into here is actually for Best Original Song. And the two movies that actually did get a nomination include Can't Stop the Feeling from Trolls and also How Far I'll Go from Moana. They are actually nominated right next to other songs like The Empty Chair from Jim, the James Foley story, and also City of Stars and Audition, The Fools Who Dream, both of which from La La Land. And if I could be very honest here, I'm a bit disappointed when I see this list. I mean, I'm honestly really happy, especially for Moana, the song How Far I'll Go would actually get a nomination. Such a fantastic song, such a phenomenal song. But knowing the Academy and the way that they nominated La La Land into almost everything that they could put in, I do have a feeling that I know for a fact that they would actually give it to most likely City of Stars, like what they did with the Golden Globes, or they would give it to Audition. Like, this is one category that I know for a fact that they're just going to give it to La La Land. It's just we don't know which one is going to be. And honestly, that one I feel a bit disappointed to. Because, let me just give you guys a little bit of my quick thoughts onto La La Land. I have seen the movie, and if I could be honest, I'm actually one of those people that believe that La La Land is good, but I don't see it as this amazing film that deserves all of these awards and all this massive recognition from the Golden Globes and the Oscars. Honestly, yes, it definitely deserves some nominations, and it does deserve some wins. But it doesn't deserve to break all these records to the point of making it ridiculous. It doesn't deserve every single not Grammy nomination, I'm sorry. It doesn't deserve all the Golden Globes to break the record for the most wins for a single movie, or getting 14, getting as much nominations, 14 of them, as much as freaking Titanic. That's honestly a bit excessive. And especially the songs that are nominated, like City of Stars and Audition, honestly, those are they're not bad songs. Those are honestly the more dull songs. If they actually did nominate either the one that's in the prologue, where everybody is dancing around a traffic, or the one where Emma Stone is in a party and she's not really having a good time but everyone else is. Okay, that I can understand. Those are some fun songs. But these ones, honestly, they're not that great. And honestly, they're just there because they're songs about Hollywood, and they're about living the dream to be in show business and stuff like that. And the fact that those ones could potentially get over How Far I'll Go, that's the part where it kind of upsets me. Honestly, I even pick Can't Stop the Feeling over these La La Land songs, to be honest. I mean, they're just not the greatest, but what I want to see to win is How Far I'll Go from Moana, but I know what's actually going to win is going to be something from La La Land, honestly. Okay, so with that said, there is actually another one that did get a nomination, another category in which got a piece of recognition from animation. And this is actually a little bit historical, to be very honest, because Kubo and the Two Strings actually grabbed itself 2 nominations. Not just for Best Animated Feature, but also for Best Visual Effects, right next to movies such as Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, Deepwater Horizon, Doctor Strange, and The Jungle Book. Now, some of you might think that this is actually pretty historical because chances are you guys have never seen an animated feature actually get a nomination for something like Best Visual Effects. Well, I will admit, it is a very, very rare moment. It only happens once in a blue moon, but it's not the only time ever. Now allow me to give you guys a little bit of a history of the Oscars and animation's recognition on the Best Visual Effects category. Now, ever since the category was pretty much created, some of the movies that actually did win for Best Visual Effects, some of them actually are nominated. Well, some of them, what I mean is that they actually blend hand-drawn animation with live action, and these movies actually do come from Disney. Some of the winners would include Mary Poppins, they include Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and they even include Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And even among the nominations, there was Return to Oz, considering that it does use Will Vinton's claymation onto it, so that would technically count as well. It wasn't until, I believe, in 1993, when for the first time a fully animated feature was nominated for Best Visual Effects, which was The Nightmare Before Christmas. But ever since then, when CGI started coming into the scene and really revolutionized how movies are today, like, that pretty much changed everything. And for the most part, animation was completely ignored, and they all, like, visual effects just wants to focus on, like, what the computers are doing, and sometimes the practical effects as well. But things have changed now in 2017 that Kubo and the Two Strings received a nomination. But the question still remains at this point, does Kubo and the Two Strings have a chance to actually get a win? And honestly, it's going to be really, really tough. Because the way that I see it, Kubo's biggest competition at this point is going to be The Jungle Book. And believe me when I say it that if you guys remember in 2016, one of the most praised movies just by the visuals alone is The Jungle Book. Considering that everything is realistically CGI and the only live action bit that you would get is Mowgli himself, I mean, it really did such phenomenal work. And I mean, sure, like, technically, there is a bit of competition with all the other nominations as well, but when you do think about it, it is extremely rare that the Oscars would actually give an award to superhero movies like Doctor Strange, or even to Star Wars movies like Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. And then you also have Deepwater Horizon, which honestly I feel like it's one of those that's just given as an extra because it did some great water effects and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, I would love to see Kubo and the Two Strings get a win, but honestly, there is a very high chance that The Jungle Book would be a winner. And I'm not I wouldn't be upset about it in the same veins of how La La Land would actually win Best Original Song. Like, The Jungle Book absolutely would deserve to get that award, hands down. But honestly, like, I would be rooting for either Kubo and the Two Strings or The Jungle Book. But yeah, like, this is all to say that Kubo and the Two Strings' toughest competition at this point is going to be with The Jungle Book in the Best Visual Effects category. Now, there actually is one more category that I want to talk about here, something that I'm not necessarily a big expert onto. Like, I haven't seen any of the other movies that are in here, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning that in the Best Documentary Feature category, one of the movies that actually did get nominated is Life Animated by Roger Ross Williams and Julie Goldman. If you guys have not seen Life Animated, I mean, you guys are animation fans, so you got to do yourself a favor and just see that documentary. Oh my god, it is phenomenal. It's not necessarily about animation itself, it's more about the story of Owen Suskind, this young adult with autism who is pretty much going through life, and his biggest aid is actually Disney movies, in which he would continuously watch them on his VHS. And he has a few favorites, you know, like he loves Peter Pan, he loves Aladdin, he loves Dumbo, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just something that I highly recommend. You can go check it out. Honestly, I haven't seen any of the other documentaries. I've heard talks that maybe 13th by Ava DuVernay is going to get a very high chance to get the win. I have not seen Fire at Sea. I have not seen I Am Not Your Negro. And I haven't seen OJ Made in America. But personally, I'm going to be rooting for Life Animated. And just the fact that it actually did get a nomination is absolutely phenomenal. Like, I honestly congratulate Roger Ross Williams and the entire Suskind family for this massive honor, but we'll have to wait and see with how that goes. But anyways, that's pretty much all the nominations that animation has touched upon. So I just want to give a massive congratulations to all the filmmakers who actually got this achievement, who is actually getting this amount of recognition and potentially actually get a chance to be rewarded for their amazing efforts for it. So, and specifically, I just want to give a big congratulations to the people working on Moana for actually getting 2 nominations, and the people on Kubo and the Two Strings, they got double nominations as well. Congratulations also to the ones who individually got it, to Trolls, to Zootopia, The Red Turtle, My Life as a Zucchini, and also, of course, like I said before, to the people who worked on Life Animated. Congratulations to Roger Ross Williams and also the entire Susskind family. So, when is this gonna happen? Well, we'll have to wait until, I believe, February 26th, when the Oscars are officially going to be announced, and see who the big winner will be. Hey guys, this is Animat. I just want to remind you guys that this is just a little taste of what you can get with the Animation Podcast. This is not all of it. If you guys want to go and listen to the full episodes of the Animation Podcast, then allow me to show you some of the different ways that you can go. First off, you can actually go on the website that it is hosted on, Filmbook, so you can go directly onto there. You can also go and check out the official Filmbook Podcast YouTube page, so at least you don't have to go away from YouTube and you can listen to the podcast right there. But if you would like to listen on the go, like if you want to listen it to on your phone or on your iPad and all that kind of stuff, then you can listen to it on either iTunes or you can listen to it on Android. So those are all the different options, and if you'd like to have more info, then all you have to do is just check in the description down below. And with all that said, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening, and until next time, see you later, dudes!